Hey amazing people, you're welcome to our channel once again. Here is our channel, not my channel. So today my amazing husband is here again, Mr. Lucky Ballet Doa.
Why are you calling my name like that?
We need to phonetically pronounce it so that anybody can pronounce it. Anyways, you're welcome, Terence, once again to the channel.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure having you because it's a wonderful time. I feel it's always a time that we can bond, learn, and pass out vital information. By the way, this is not our first episode. I think this is like our fourth episode together, and all our episodes have been beautiful. I'm sure if you go back to watch them, you'll be able to learn a thing or two from them. If you're new here, you're welcome to the family, okay? Don't forget to like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. It's beautiful. After all, it's free, right? Okay, in today's episode, we're talking about our in-laws and how we relate with them in diverse areas. It's the practicality of it. So, there's just flow. What do you think?
Trust me, the points may not be exhaustive. There are 1,000 and more points we can actually discuss on this topic, and trust me, we're just sharing, our own perspective of it, and I believe you'll be able to learn.
And the things that we practice as well. So it's not like we're just talking for talking sake or we're going to read it somewhere. It's things that we practice on a daily.
Yeah.
This topic is founded on Matthew chapter 19 verse 4-6. It says, "He answered, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife like this, and the two shall become one flesh." So they are no longer two but one. Therefore, what God has joined together, let not man separate. Okay, so that is where it's hinged on. So the first point we would like to bring in here is
being open-minded. Being open-minded as husband and wife in relating to in-laws. And how do I mean practically? It's about me accepting fully my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister and brother-in-laws as my own sibling, as my own parents. So I'm not seeing them as different people. I'm not seeing them as strangers. I'm seeing them as these are my own, and that is the way I relate with them. I'm practically, by the grace of God, we've been in marriage going to 4 years now, and the way I relate with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, I call them parents. I say daddy, I say mommy, and similar things I do with my mom, I can do with my mother-in-law. Similar things I can do with my dad, I can do with my father-in-law. We discuss, like, daddy, how do we do this? Daddy, I'm planning this. What do you think? We discuss.
Coming from the place of a son.
Coming from the place of a son, and not in quotes in-law. Yes, you are in-law. That's the fact. You are in-law. But again, it's about accepting him fully as a father-in-law, as a mother-in-law, not limiting it to just mother and father-in-law, but relating with them as your own parent. So that's the point basically. What do you think?
Absolutely, and this is what we've been practicing. Sometimes I try to make like a distinction when I'm talking about my mother-in-law. Okay, I've been speaking to Momsy today. I say my mom is mommy, they're Momsy. Not that there is a difference or anything, but I just try to make it as a distinction so we are clear on who we are talking about at that moment. Okay, another thing that is core, I believe, is respect. Generally, respect is reciprocal, right? When we are talking two older siblings, like it's older siblings, 9 older siblings as well. Most times we refer to them as bros, sis. The fact that you're calling somebody sister or brother doesn't mean respect, gong, but it comes from the heart, and how you hold them in esteem. Even the younger ones, the fact that we are married into this family, it's not a union, doesn't make us to disrespect the younger one. You give the accord that respect, and by the grace of God, I live with one currently in my house, my younger sister-in-law. The fact that she's younger than me doesn't mean I'll send her or boss her around. I still say please. Sometimes she'll be like, sis, why are you using please? But no, it's respect. I use please, can you help me do that? Irrespective of the country that we find ourselves. I think it's just about that individual. So for us, it's all about respect. Do you concur?
Probably just an addition to what my beautiful wife had just mentioned. Like she said earlier on, read our Africa heritage or culture. My daughter-in-law, my son-in-law has to respect me. it needs to be mutual from both sides, both from the family and the son or daughter-in-law. Yeah, but again, it's about treating people with respect and meaning it. And respect actually does not necessarily mean that if there are issues, you can't say things, in a respectful manner. That's not what we mean. But it's about treating people with dignity as important, though we are, I must say, quite far from in terms of physical location, we are far from home, but we are in constant connection with the family.
The other point that comes to mind when it comes to relationship with in-laws, right, is before marriage, maybe I was relating with your siblings, especially the ones that are not too far gone, and I'm calling them by their names, but once marriage comes in, right, there's something about marriage that gives you respect. Especially for a young lady, for a young man. I don't feel good when you're just saying, Lucky, how is Lucky? Sometimes I just feel you could say, how is your husband? Or how is Mr. Bolodowa? There's just that thing that comes in that I feel increases the respect level. Not that you're afraid of him or you're older than the person, no problem. But there's that part of just putting Mr. or Miss, or how is your husband? Or how is your wife? I don't know, Jairus, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do get what you mean, treating people with respect and meaning it. That's a summary of all what we are saying. The next point I'll probably talk about is about being considerate. As couples, you are blessed to the point where you can also support the family. When I mean blessed to the point, wherever level you are, it's not just about finance, it could be otherwise. Wherever level you are, there is something you can always do to support the family, and you are blessed to the point, and you to the point where you can extend support, perhaps financially or otherwise, to the family. It is not just going to be a one-sided thing. Once you are a couple, the two families are now one. It's about having that understanding in the couple. For instance, we have 10 naira or we have 10 pounds for family support. How do we do this? What is the need? Doing an assessment. What is the need on this family? What's the need on this side? How do we do this? It's about having that discussion, and it's not just, because I'm the man, the support is going to just go to my family, or because I'm the woman, the support is basically going to be to my family. What do you think?
No, absolutely. We do that a lot. Sometimes, even if it's 100 naira at hand or 100 pounds, it doesn't have to be 50-50 all the time. Sometimes it is 40-60. It may even sometimes be 30-70. It's just based on the need at that moment. And another part that we may likely come from is the part of selling your spouse positively in the light of your family, right?
Yeah, there is something we do, and it doesn't have to be the norm, but this is what we do to sell our spouse to the other family. For instance, if you are sending £5 to my wife's family, it goes in my name. That's to tell the family that I know about it. So it's not just directly from their daughter, but it's a whole. Likewise, if there is £5 or 5 naira going from myself to my family, it goes in my wife's name. And so my wife is the sender. So
because of the name, especially in that description, we put the name Gloria or Lucky. So it doesn't matter who is sending it, but that name they see. So when they see the name, I think it's like a mindset thing. Their mind say, it's Gloria that sent this son. In as much as they know it's from my son or our son or our daughter that brought it. Still, the thanks go to the other side. Greet your husband for me, thank you, sir. No problem. Then from his own angle, so they say greet your wife, because it's the name that they see. That's what plays out in their mind, irrespective of who works. And why I'm saying that we'll do something else separate is around also now say, okay, does the finance come together? It doesn't mean that he's the one that works alone, or both of us work together and then the funds is separated.
That's a whole topic on its own. That's how do you manage family finance and all that. God having it, will be able to something like that in the future.
The next point here is showing genuine interest in family members. So for example, I don't just randomly say, how are the kids? Especially when we're talking about the children, we try to know the names specifically of the children of individuals in the family. So rather than say, how are the kids, we try to mention names. The person has up to 6 kids, 5 kids, find a way to mention at least 4. Then you say, the last one, and they forget that one name, and then they will call it for you. It just shows that interest, concern, love, intentionality. So we do that a lot. He knows the names of my sister's children, and I as well know. At least let me start counting.
You don't have to. It's about having that concern. Oh, I heard you were not feeling too well last week. How are you feeling now? How is your health? Are you on medication? Have you gone to the hospital? What's happening? Have you had something to eat today? It's about that genuine concern.
And if somebody passes, like if there's a loss in the family as well, sometimes it may be a far relative, but as long as there's a relationship, oh, sorry, we heard.
It's about calling in to show that you feel their pain, you empathize with them, you feel what they are going through, and you want to support in the little way that God has enabled you to. The next point is about avoiding unnecessary rules that will damage or break relationship with your in-laws. For instance, saying that for those who stay local with their in-laws, that they must give you a notice before they visit, or for instance, before they call, they must call at certain time of the day. If not, the calls cannot be picked. Yes, it's good to respect people's times, but again, it's about trying to avoid that. You don't put stringent rules that can break the social relationship you have with your in-laws.
So another point that we could bring on is knowing boundaries, right? And I'm sure most persons, they know this thing already, boundaries. But nonetheless, in our relationship, we try to be very careful with our tongue. Obviously, this is like a common thing. That is not everything that happens within, that's what you let out. There are some things that you just feel like, daddy should not know about this, or mommy should not know about this, or we can manage. We don't talk bad about ourselves to our parents or our in-laws. So I did something wrong, now you carry phone, you don't call, Gloria started again or something. We try not to do that. Yes, there are little areas where they can be impure, but not a major decision. Another point is us not bad-mouthing our relatives. So if there is something happening in the family, yes, we have opinions, right? For example, my sister or your brother or your sister, maybe something is happening back home in Nigeria that we are hearing about, we'll not say, wow, this is your family self. Now God, this is your family, people need prayer. Remember, we are one and we join the family. So we try not to say negative things about our in-laws.
The point is, yes, we have our opinions, but those opinions must be said in such a way that it conveys respect. There's a way you can bring in your opinions, but even though it is contrary, but someone sees it in a respectful manner. So that is the point. If we must continue to have this good and mutual relationship with our in-laws, we must avoid, just like
and this is both of us talking.
Yes,
so
just
it's
like
we're
bowed,
calling them to call them bad names. So it's just between ourselves. So there's no bad
mounting them and all that. You just have to be very careful with things like that. And again, this also builds the respect, because these are little things, yes, but if not well managed, before you know it, you begin to have issues as a couple.
And sometimes, if you're not careful, you may feel like, last time I told him about my brother, or last time I told him about my sisters, look at what he said. In fact, I'm not even going to tell him anymore. After all, he's going to still badmouth them. We try not to do that part. Yes, we have opinions. After all, we are married to the family, right? We still have opinions, but we still convey it respectfully at the same time. And also, the way you sell your family is the way they will look at you. I've seen many experience that if my dad is calling, I'm ignoring the call. It will be putting a picture in your mind to say that if my dad were to call him, it will be like, if your daughter can ignore the call, means if I will ignore your call, it's not important. You start taking people for granted in the other side of the family. So we try to don't say negative things, and we even encourage each other. Have you called mom sis last time? Have you called? We try to encourage ourselves to call, because it's in my parents' eyes, I'm a good girl, right? She married somebody into the family. If I were to stop calling them, all of a sudden, maybe I do call them once in a month before, and now I'm now calling them once in 2 months. They'll start saying, I be like, say, your husband no one have to talk to us, and vice versa as well. If you used to talk to them all the time before your family, and all of a sudden now that you are married to me, they will say, this wife a bad woman, God forbid that thing. And then wisdom comes in.
The other point is, in a bid to maintain the mutual relationship you have with your in-laws, don't rush into issues. For instance, if there is something going on in my family and my wife is aware, because we don't hide things, she's aware of it, but if she's going to give her opinion, she shouldn't just
bypass
me in giving her opinion, and vice versa. I shouldn't bypass her in giving my opinions relating to issues going on in our family. In doing that, let the opinions be conveyed in such a way that it goes from, in quotes, their daughter, it goes from their son. In that, it carries better, such that if you say something that someone do not buy, they don't see the other person as being,
yes.
Oh, what is he trying to do? Oh, what is she trying to do? Wisdom is profitable to direct, so we must act in wisdom.
Absolutely. Even though your opinion is going to be aired, like they want to hear it, let it come through from the daughter or the son. So for example, you say, mommy or daddy, or my husband is here, or he has something to say, is it okay? Okay, no problem, let him, he's part of the family. At least let it come from them to say he's part of the family, he's not a different person, she's part of the family, she's our daughter as well. Then the opinion can now be sold from your own mouth. But otherwise, let that respect be there, like a boundary still.
Again, just to say this, because we are Africans and there is an African heritage, we have a way of life. Again, we are also Christians. There are some things that are expected to be done by the husband, and we are not saying this point applies to everything. There are certain core issues in the family that one has to go through. It will be better let it go through the daughter of the family, or let it go through the son of the family.
Like core issues like abuse or something. There are some kind of societal
things like
issues,
that.
Rape.
Yes.
You speak up. That one will definitely speak up. If you are anything will happen, may happen. But nonetheless, the wisdom is profitable to direct. Amen.
Amen.
Another way that we relate with our in-laws is understanding our temperament, or introvertedness or extrovertedness. My husband usually is the type that calls, right? You call a lot, although I'm rubbing off. It's like I'm rubbing off on you a little. And I on the other end, I'm not a calling type at all. Like, we can stay 1 year, maybe I'll call you once or twice, But he's encouraging me, like in areas that we're a bit weak, and you feel that my family people actually they will appreciate if you call them, or you kind of spoil me. There is call this call her. Even though I'm like, no want now, you call for me now. We will push ourselves, like portray ourselves in positive light in front of the in-laws. My dad or my mom likes it when, if appreciation, you can tell the other person that if you do this, they will be very happy. We act as our motivators.
Basically, it's strengthening that relationship, and we can do it by way of also reaching out. It could be your shots and all that. Again, in order to do that effectively, you need to understand your spouse. Is your spouse that person who is strong in reaching out? If not, you can also do a reminder, just as she has said, have you called? Have you done this? The more you reach them, it shows that you are open-minded, you want to be part of them, and that also makes them see you as, this is our own. She is interested, she's open-minded, he's open-minded. They take you as their own. But again, you must reach out.
Another part, sometimes it can, for me, is a thorn in the flesh, right? You have to force me to call. But then when I called, I must be enthusiastic on the phone. Like, as I'm talking to the in-laws, even at that point, like, now force me call, because in my spirit I didn't want to. But by the time they pick up that call, like, bring up your best A game. Sis, how far? How you doing? Okay, how far, And then I don't know how to speak language very well, but then I try to I try to speak one or two just to make them laugh. But then at the end of the day, I feel great. We actually did it.
So the other part is, sometimes if your family is to say, your husband is not doing this, your husband is not, or your wife is not doing this, it's about making those excuses. Yes, you have to talk about it as couples, but you can make, for instance, my father-in-law talking to the daughter and saying, it's been long, my son-in-law called me, what's happening? And then it's about my wife coming in to say, probably because he's working, he's at work, sorry, I believe he will call you soon, and all that. And it's vice versa. In doing that, you are building it, you are helping to build a strong relationship between both families and the couples.
It's a part of divulging information. I don't know if it's divulge or divulging information. For example, whatever we say to one family, we try to be consistent to say the same to the other family, right? So if there is a project that is at hand that we are doing, and we feel, at the beginning we don't want to let it out, it has to be mutual. If I'm not letting my family know, you're not letting your family know. But then at the end of the day, if we've decided to not let the family know about it, the same information I'm giving to this family must be the same information you're giving to your side of the family.
The last point before we cut it up, if there is things that needs to be done in the family, it's about being part of it. For instance, if there is a marriage contribution in my wife's family, I am part of it. If there is a contribution the men are doing in the family, I am part of it as a son-in-law, as an in-law in that family, I'm part of it, and it's vice versa. Doing that makes the in-laws feel okay, she is part of us, he is part of us. So what do you think?
No, absolutely. And we've done it, I don't want to say countless number of times, because honestly I cannot count, but you know, we've done it when there's burial ceremony, marriage ceremony. Obviously it's between those, right? But more of marriage, somebody's getting married. If you're doing a contribution of £1 to this for yourself, you also do for me as well. You know?
If the women are doing £5 each in my family, my wife is doing that. For instance, if the men are doing a similar amount, £5 or £5 in our family, I am doing the same. It's about, you know, building that relationship. Or it's not just any other person, but he is part of us, and that is why he or she is doing this as well.
And also the relationship between, I think it fosters a better relationship also between the in-laws themselves. Like obviously we're here, there are times that your in-laws have come to my side, there are times that my in-laws have gone to your side, and then that's
and it's beautiful. Yes, we are miles apart in terms of location from where our parents are at the moment, but if there is something that needs to be done in either families, we have persons in my wife's family going to celebrate with the other family, and it builds a stronger bond with each other. Probably the last thing I was going to mention is that yes, there is actually a thin line between the in-laws and the couples, very thin line, and that thin line is probably in the place of decision making. Yes, you know, it's probably good to put this out there so people probably hear from it. Thin line is in the place of decision making. The in-laws are a part of the family, but when it comes to core issues of decision making concerning the couple, in-laws should do their best not to exert so much pressure. You can let the will of the couple
prevail.
Yes, their role should be more of an advisory role and not to exert your own will as in-laws in terms of what the couples want. That's just a little the thin line between, you know, the thin line in the relationship between the couples and in-laws. And if this is understood and done by each party, it's going to help a whole lot in terms of the general relationship between the couples and in-laws and the health of the relationship. Thanks for being with us in this journey. Thank you so much. We hope you've been able to learn one or two things. And like we said earlier on, there are 1,000 and more points on it is not, you know, conclusive.
But we're filtering some of the points.
And most of these points are interrelated. And so
I think bottom line, wisdom is profitable to direct. You know, listen to the Holy Spirit. They say turn left, turn right. Say this one, don't say this one. Keep your mouth shut when necessary. That is how you live long in marriage. All right.
Please do well.
Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Everything is free.
Please drop your comments as well.
Put your comment down there. Let us hear your points, okay? And also, if you think there are other areas that you want us to talk about,
you can mention them.
Thank you for watching. Take care.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.